All right, so we're going to go ahead and cover our floor plan today. So just looking at kind of what we're drawing now is, remember our garage wall was depressed a little bit, I guess, or the slab was. And then above our living room over here, we've got a crawl space. So just kind of think about our dirt line right here. So again, we've got a basement below, crawl space over here, and then this is just going to be on grade. So really 3 different foundation systems we're going to be drawing. All right, so I'm going to start again on kind of a fresh gray underlay. And this time we're going to start with our basement floor plan. So let's just go ahead and highlight here. I'm going to copy, Control C, Control V. I'm just going to slide it over here for now. We're going to format these probably in the next video just to show you how I want these to print out. Okay, so now we've got our basement. I'm going to make sure my 0 or just my white line is turned on. So first I'm just going to go ahead and trace, because remember this is my outside wall. So I'm just going to draw a solid white line. This looks a little thick, but we'll fix that in a minute. Okay, so now this is the outside of my garage concrete stem wall. And again, if you want to refer back to this as you're drawing, it's great. This is page 43 of our packet E. But again, I just drew this outside edge, or if I were to even draw it here, of this stem wall right here. Okay, so that's where we're going to start really on all sides of our floor plan. And now that we've got one of those, we're just going to go ahead and offset this. I'm trying to remember, it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to go ahead and offset this 6 inches to the inside. Whoops. Click line, offset, 6 inches is highlighted, click, click and click, click and click. Okay, and once my offset tool is still highlighted, I'm just going to go ahead and draw in my footings that are going to be dashed below. So again, with my offset tool still selected, I'm just going to go ahead and type in 6. Oh, you know what? We're at 6, so we're okay. So this will make sense in a minute, but I'm just going to go ahead and offset another 6 inches from both lines. So we've got a lot, of lines here, which is okay. Okay, and then the first step really is to clean them up or to identify, but I just want to identify this outside line I just drew. So these outside lines are going to be our footing below that we're not going to see, so I'm just going to go ahead and make these dashed so they're showing up here. There's not too much cleanup to do on these. The big thing, yeah, let's just go ahead and do it the quick way. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag this line over, and I'm going to do the same thing on my bottom corner. And then after that, I'm just going to go ahead and trim everything. So again, we've kind of gone over this in class, but I'm just highlighting which line I want it to match up with, and I'm not clicking over it, just hovering over it, and then it gives me that little X. Okay, so now that we got a bunch of lines, I'm just going to highlight all of them, go up here to my trim tool, and I'm just going to start cleaning up. So again, I don't want anything coming inside. This will start making inside my stem wall. Cleaning that up here, cleaning up that here. So that's what a good looking corner looks like. Come down here, same thing. I'm just cleaning up all these lines. Okay, hitting escape so I can see what it looks like. And I'm just going to go ahead and do this right away just so you can start seeing what's going on. So I'm going to type hatch. Icon will show up, and I'm going to go down to concrete, AR Conc. I'm going to go ahead and my Computer's running so fast this morning. All right, I'm going to go ahead and click. There we go. Concrete inside that area. So now you'll see we just created a concrete stem wall with a footing below. We're going to do this exact same thing on this side, but let's see. This thing's annoying. Let's see if I can move this. There we go. Yeah, it's the exact same thing. We're going to make our stem wall and our footing the same size over our crawl space. We can go ahead and do that now. Just for the sake of time, too, we're not going to do that this class, but how this would look probably. Again, remember we have our garage cut out, so we would see another line here. Whoops, vertical, and another line here, but don't worry about that. If you already did it, great, but don't worry about that. Okay, so same step over here. So again, I'm just going to be highlighting my outside lines. And again, I can be referring back to this, but again, you want to draw your footing all the way around your chimney. Yes, you may have brick going down, but I'm just going to draw it in because I think this is the right way to do it. Oops. Okay, and same step. We're just going to go ahead. My offset tool still turned on at 6 inches. I'm going to hit enter. This box shows up, so I'm offsetting inside. Because again, that was highlighting the exterior wall. Okay, and I'm not going to clean up these lines just for time's sake, but I'm just going to go ahead and draw my footing. Again, so I'm offsetting both outside lines. I'll clean up one wall. Offset everything. Okay, and then kind of same step. We're going to color the most outside lines dashed, because again, those are our footings below that we're not really seeing in our floor plan, but they're there, just like how you draw your details. Getting close. All right, I'm going to make these dashed lines, and again, go ahead and just clean them up just like the other one. I'm going to clean up a corner, but make sure you just clean up everything. So again, I don't want anything showing up inside my stem wall. Cleaning up these corners. And a quick check too, you could even just leave those dashed lines as is, but those look pretty good, is when you go to hatch, which I'm going to right here, after you clean up all your lines, if I click inside, whoops, this footing, see, it looks like I forgot to tell you, make sure you close off your box over here. It won't sometimes recognize the gray. Oh, see, and I didn't close off over here. Awesome. So I did a great example. So I'm just going to go ahead and close off this one so I can show you how the hatch should work. So again, once you clean up everything, I haven't, halfway done. Whoops, hatch, there we go. And if you click inside this area, it'll only go to what's enclosed. So again, once you're clean or cleaned up, it should do the whole footing automatically. Okay, so those are really our stem wall and our footings for our two major sections, and then all we have left to do, I put in this hatch pattern for you already. So what we're going to do is highlight the whole thing right here, and just highlight these lines as well. I just want all my perimeter lines for this, and we're going to just go ahead and color these white. Make sure those are white. You do not need to draw over or gray your gray lines. Just go ahead and change the properties. It looks like I missed a few. That's okay. Just check. Let's see. Yep, I missed a few lines, but make sure these are all white so they're popping up. Okay, then all we have left to do on our main house is draw this basement footing. So this basement footing, as you remember, was a little bigger. It's a retaining footing. I don't have my notes in front of me, but I think it was a 12-inch heel and then 4 feet from the outside face. So that's what we're going to do. Do whatever you want. All we want to show up right here, which I'll show you, is this footing. Again, since it's retaining, I'm going to go ahead and offset that wall first. I'm going to highlight this outside face, and I'm going to do this 4-foot one first, just so you can see how extreme this looks. So 4 feet. Clicking on, this outside wall and dragging it in. Excuse me. Okay. Looks like I picked a bad line, but it's totally fine. Because now what we're going to do is go ahead and highlight these. I'm going to go to trim. We're going to trim these. And I'm not going to mention the terrible word, but again, this is where center line method comes into hand, because this bearing footing just kind of extends so far into our house. So I'm just going to go ahead and highlight these lines. Make them dashed. Okay, and then all we have left is to offset the outside footings as well. So 12 inches here. Same thing, the outside. Seems a little big, that's okay, let's stick with it. 12 inches in all directions. So again, we're going to clean up all these lines, connect them to each other, which I'm not going to do, and then leave them as is. Okay, so now we are showing pretty much all of our footing systems. And now we're going to go ahead and draw in. We don't have a ton of floor framing to show. Yeah, and again, porches will be extra credit if you feel like you need it or want it. But I'm just going to go ahead and draw it without the porches. Sorry, I'm scrolling through my notes here. Can't be dual screening here. All right, so this is going to be almost the same setup as we did over here. Some people try copying and pasting. I think it's kind of a pain. So I'm just going to, again, just kind of draw this. So now I'm going to go up here. I'm going to turn this line to pink or magenta. You know what? Yeah, this is identical to what we did in the last video. So really, I don't want to waste your all time, but I'm just going to go ahead and show the first couple steps and show the only thing that's different with this setup. Okay, so my magenta line's turned on. And again, I'm going to highlight pretty much my whole perimeter. Ooh, mine gets a little ugly because I haven't cleaned it up. That's okay. So this is my whole perimeter wall. Okay, so this is my rim joist or my girder. Okay. And I just have one last section to do that for, so I'm going to use my rectangle tool up here. My pink still turned on. We're going to do the same thing around our stairs. But remember my outside line, I haven't deleted my stair rail, so it kind of goes right to the center of these lines. Okay, so now we got our perimeter girder called out in pink. and the floor joists are going to be identical except for one location. So over here we've got this crawl space, and again this is kind of just like a lot of slow San Luis Obispo homes. They provide plumbing, electrical, all running under your house, but here we've got a basement, so a little different system over here. So first step, I'm just going to go ahead and find my midpoint. So I'm just going to hover over here. Perfect, it found a midpoint. This is just a guideline, so I'm just going to draw it about more than halfway down. And same step here, I want to find my midpoint. Okay, so now that I've got this midpoint here, there's a number of different ways to do this. Yeah, I'm going to draw it kind of the ugly way, but do it however you want. But we just need to go ahead and draw a, let's make this a little bit bigger. So we're going to make this a 3 foot by 3 foot wide little pier footing that's going to hold up a girder. And this will make sense soon. So I'm going to change my color back to white here. And I'm just trying to find the outside face of this so I can draw an offset. So from this midpoint, I'm going to come over 1.5 feet. You know what? For simplicity's sake, I'm just going to make it 4 foot by 4 foot. So I'm going to come over 2 feet. Whoops, not 2 inches. 2 feet. Okay, and then from this point, I'm going to come down 2 feet. And again, this is kind of your bottom right-hand corner. So once you found this, I'm going to draw a full line up to be 4 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot. That looks massive. That's okay. We've got a lot of load calcing here, California. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and just delete my guidelines. And now we've got this, wow, that is big, but that's okay. It gives us a good example. So now we've got this huge pad footing. Oh, too soon, I forgot, sorry. Go ahead and Control Z. I still want these center lines showing up because I'm going to draw a pier using my circle button. Clicking on my midpoint, and we're just going to go ahead. This is asking down below for the diameter, it looks like. So I'm going to make an 18-inch. Whoa, nope, that's asking for. Is it radius? Let's see. Let's do 9 inches. That looks a lot better. Go ahead and type 9. And you can always adjust that too by highlighting it, and once you start clicking on it, it'll adjust it here. So what we just did is made a 9. I don't think this shows up, and yeah, it doesn't. But we just created this pad footing right here with a pier that's going up, and it will make sense in a minute. So now I can go ahead and delete these guidelines. And yes, if you're calling me out right now, you are totally correct. So we can change these to dash lines. And then I would probably fill in, oops, hatch, this in concrete as well. So again, our footing below that we're not seeing, and then our pier that we would be seeing. Okay, so now that we got this point, let's just go ahead and draw in this massive girder that's going to be supported. So again, I just like going, oh, you know what, it should line up. So let's go ahead and click on our center point here. Perfect, mine's lining up. So this girder is running here to here. And again, I'm just going to adjust the properties as we go here. So this is just a standard line. And I'm just going to go ahead and blow up the properties because, again, this is a little thicker beam than our standard beams. So I'm going to make that a little bigger. And then I'm going to go ahead and steal a text from one of my previous ones over here and go ahead and call out what we just drew. So this is going to be a 6 by 12 Douglas fir number 1 girder. And again, if we remember our terms, but girders are going to be supporting our joists. So again, our joists are going to line up exactly the same on our basement, just because they're able to be supported by these internal beams from here to here. But on this side, now that we've got this girder running this whole direction, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw in a few of these just to show you. I'm going to go ahead and start my spacing. So just be careful here, because our joists are going to run on top of the CMU wall to here. I'm going to delete this line later, but it's just to show you. And I'm going to offset this one 2 feet. Okay, and you can even delete this one now. Don't want to forget about it. But here are all of our joists that are going to be running from on top of this wall, supported by this girder below, and then on top of this stem wall as well. So go ahead and keep going here. Ooh, I got lucky. It's lining up with something, but just make sure you extend once you get over here. It won't line up here. Yeah, but once you get over here, go ahead and extend this one to be on top of your stem wall. Okay, so we are 80% done here. So again, my go ahead and check out, what page is this? Page 59 in your packet E. Again, this just kind of lays out what it should look like in the end, except for your callouts. Remember, just don't worry about these callouts. But the only thing different you're going to be doing on this plan, forgot to name this here. So this is going to be my floor framing. I'll change the color later. Floor framing and foundation. Whoops. Plan just got thrown off here. Awesome. So I'm just going to adjust this to be a little bigger and make both of these text white. Okay. I'm just going to move this down just in case you're doing your porch out here. Okay, so last step on this, once you get your floor joists ran, your callouts in, yeah, and again, I'm just going to keep, just to show you real quick, I'm going to keep the beams the same as what I did on the level above. So I'll have a beam here as well as, whoops, a beam from here to here. Whoops, those aren't straight lines, but you get the point. So these beams again are just going to be a little, could even just copy paste these, but these beams are going to be a little thicker. So I'm going to expand those, and again I'm just copying the same layout to make it easy for my framer as these two. So again, I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 beams the same. Don't worry about these beams right here, 1, 2 on this wall, because again we've got a CMU wall right here. So I'm just going to draw 1, 2, run all my joists. Okay, and then last step on this one, we want a full-on dimension plan for our first floor, just to make it easy on our layout, and really all the trades to follow. So if you did not follow my dimensions, I think that was in the roof framing when we did our truss, go ahead and go back to that real quick just to make sure. But our dimensions should be set. So again, I'm going to do a full-on dimension layout, and this is really just calling out every single major line that we're seeing here. So on this face, this is all I'm seeing, and you'll see this will start making sense here in a little bit. But I'm going to pull this out a little bit, and let's just say you did your porch. I would pull this one out to about, yeah, I can adjust these later, but you're going to pull any minor dimensions out to one tier, like I'm doing right here, and then your major dimensions, or like your full lines, full length of the wall, a little bit further. So I want these dimensions to line up nice and smooth like this. And you'll see you're going to start dimension, and don't get crazy like page 59 if you use that as a reference. This is as much as I want to see type of thing. You don't have to draw too many here. Okay, and let's just do an example, but you're going to do pretty much your X and Y walls. So this one I'm not going to drag all the way out here. It's kind of annoying. It gets in the way. So I just leave my 2-foot dimension here. But on this side, I'm going to go ahead and pull a lot of these dimensions. So I'm going to go fireplace. And you can see too, I'm dimensioning from my outside face of walls. And here as well, I'm just going to go ahead and do this one. Pull this out. So again, this is all of my walls jogging, but then I want to go ahead and highlight this overall wall just like this too. So I'm just pulling that out past the minor walls. Okay, so this is very close. We're probably got like a half hour left here of laying out the rest of your floor joists as well as your call out. So again, I gave you all the call outs here. So just go ahead and match these on some of your floor plans. And just be careful not to copy exactly what these notes show, because again, I've adjusted these callouts a little bit. So just kind of reference these before you're doing that. All right, and that is it. Next video, we're just going to be